At 71 years old, Lionel Hollins has finally opened up about the shocking truth behind his infamous moped crash and the public defiance that defined his character. This is a story about a man whose toughness became both his greatest strength and his biggest weakness. Lionel Hollins was never supposed to be easy to deal with. From his early days at Dixie Community College, where he earned all conference honors, to Arizona State University, where he became a two-time team MVP, Hollins showed flashes of brilliance mixed with stubborn pride. At ASU, he averaged over 17 points per game and led the team to impressive records. But even then, his complicated personality was starting to show. When the Portland Trail Blazers drafted him 6th overall in 1975, they got more than just a talented point guard. They got a walking contradiction. Hollins was described as a slashing, driving left-hander with an erratic jumper. His game was built on speed, aggressive drives, and unlimited stamina. More importantly, he was a tough, long-armed defender who could hound opponents full court. But his talent came with baggage that would follow him throughout his career. The first major incident that revealed Hollins' true character happened during his early years in Portland. After several turnovers led to persistent booing from the crowd, Hollins did something that shocked everyone. He pranced gracefully in front of the bench, pirouetted 360 degrees like a ballet dancer, raised his hands and flipped off the entire crowd with his middle finger. This wasn't just a moment of frustration, it was an act of pure defiance. The reasons behind this outburst were complex and troubling. Portland fans were still new to professional basketball and struggled to appreciate Hollins' sophisticated playing style. They thought his game was too complicated. Making matters worse, there was residual resentment because he was taking playing time from popular player Larry Steele. But the most disturbing part was what Hollins himself perceived. He believed there was a racial component to some of the crowd's resentment, particularly after a local television interview with his white wife. Coach Lenny Wilkins was concerned about pushing Hollins too quickly. He believed Hollins was a better player than the fans were prepared for, performing actions on the court that they couldn't yet understand. Wilkins later joked that it was the crowd that had improved in appreciating basketball, not Hollins improving his play, but the damage was done. This public display of defiance wasn't just an impulsive act. It revealed a stubborn personality that would define his entire career. Just before his NBA career began, Hollins suffered a significant moped crash in 1974. He collided with a bicyclist, and while the injury didn't end his career, it left a permanent mark. His left pinky and ring finger never healed correctly. This might seem like a minor detail, but it became a symbol of something much deeper. The fact that Hollins continued playing at an all-star level with unhealed fingers showed his incredible toughness, but it also represented his unwillingness to fully adapt or change, even when circumstances demanded it. Despite these personal challenges, Hollins achieved remarkable success as a player. He was instrumental in Portland's historic 1976 to 1977 championship victory, playing alongside legends like Bill Walton and Maurice Lucas. He earned first-team All-Rookie honors in 1976, first-team All-Defense in 1977, and made the West All-Star team in 1978. He started at point guard in 3 NBA Finals appearances. His competitive nature was legendary. In one crucial playoff game, despite shooting poorly earlier, Coach Jack Ramsey designed the game-winning shot for Hollins. When asked why, Ramsey said Lionel was the only player who showed he wanted the ball. But Hollins' playing success came with the same character traits that would later limit his coaching career. His identity was built on toughness, defense, and an unyielding competitive drive. These qualities made him a champion, but they also made him inflexible. When his playing days ended, he carried this rigid mindset into coaching. Hollins began his coaching journey as an assistant at Arizona State before moving to the NBA. He spent years as an assistant with the Phoenix Suns, contributing to their 1993 finals run. He also had assistant roles with the Vancouver and Memphis Grizzlies. His multiple interim head coaching opportunities with the Grizzlies franchise showed both his value and his limitations. When Hollins finally became permanent head coach of Memphis in 2009, After the team had endured consecutive 22-60 seasons, he implemented his vision completely. His fundamental old-school mentality became the team's identity. He was known for being hard on players and possessing a hard-ass mentality. He frequently challenged individuals and showed a strong tendency to play veterans over younger players. His coaching style was unequivocally defensive-minded, prioritizing defensive efficiency above everything else. The grit and grind era in Memphis became Hollins' greatest achievement and his defining legacy. This defensive-minded philosophy perfectly matched Memphis's blue-collar local culture, creating a powerful connection between team and city. Hollins strategically built the roster around tough-minded, hard-nosed players like Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Tony Allen, and Zach Randolph. He was notorious for getting the absolute most out of his big men. Under his guidance, Marc Gasol developed into a premier big man and earned Defensive Player of the Year. Mike Conley transformed into an underrated star. The results were impressive. The Grizzlies experienced dramatic improvement, with increasing win percentages each season. They transitioned from a rebuilding project to being one series victory away from the NBA Finals in just 4 years. Hollins led them to their first playoff wins in franchise history, including upsetting the top-seeded San Antonio Spurs as an 8th seed in 2011. The team's defensive efficiency improved each year, climbing to second best in the league during his final season coaching them. But success came with significant limitations that expose Hollins' coaching flaws. While the Grizzlies utilized quick outlets in transition, if fast break opportunities weren't available, they deliberately slowed things down into intense gridlock. This resulted in finishing dead last in pace in 2012-13. His offensive approach was described as holding its own, but not being innovative, relying on basic plays like high post and low post sets with picks and drive and kicks. The most damaging criticism of Hollins was his very old school mentality and his resistance to analytics or changing position definitions. When asked about playing power forward Kevin Garnett and center Brook Lopez together, he claimed they were the same exact position, with one on the left of the block and the other on the right. This resistance to evolving data-driven approaches became a key factor in his departure from Memphis. The prevailing theory was philosophical differences with the front office, because he didn't embrace analytics that would complement traditional scouting. His subsequent tenure with the Brooklyn Nets from 2014 to 2016 exposed his limitations even more brutally. Observers explicitly stated that Hollins did not run any sort of modern offense. He faced severe criticism for terrible lineups and rotation patterns, including inexplicably benching performing players for extended periods in close games, while stubbornly playing ineffective ones like Andrea Bargnani. Joe Johnson, despite being described as complete garbage for the entire season, led the team in minutes played. Hollins had to be forced by the front office to play promising rookie Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Perhaps most troubling was the perception that Hollins had become apathetic during his Nets tenure. Observers suggested he conveyed a lack of genuine engagement, reportedly stating he was in his 60s. The team sucked. There was no future, so he wasn't going to give effort. This perceived apathy reflected his frustration with a roster that didn't fit his preferred style and his resistance to adapting to organizational philosophy. The contrast between Hollins' demanding coaching persona and his broader public image reveals a complex contradiction. While he was known as a hard-ass coach, he's also portrayed as a guiding force, mentor, and advocate for personal growth beyond basketball. His long-standing support for the Positive Coaching Alliance and his commitment to developing well-rounded individuals shows a different side. He holds profound beliefs about mentorship and representation, particularly for young Black athletes. His leadership philosophy emphasizes integrity, accountability, and character development. But this contradiction highlights the fundamental problem with Hollins' career. His unwavering consistency provided clear team identity when circumstances aligned perfectly, like in Memphis. However, when personnel didn't fit his mold, or when the league's trends shifted toward higher pace, three-point shooting, and advanced analytics, his rigidity became a significant liability. His inability to adapt to modern offense and embrace data-driven decision-making ultimately constrained his long-term viability as a head coach. Lionel Hollins emerges as a paradoxical figure whose greatest strengths became his most limiting weaknesses. His defiant character, symbolized by both his public middle finger to fans and his permanently damaged fingers from the moped crash, defined a career of remarkable highs and frustrating limitations. He built an iconic team identity in Memphis that still influences the franchise today, but his stubborn adherence to outdated methods ultimately constrained his broader coaching success. At 71, Hollins' legacy remains that of a complex individual whose toughness both elevated and limited his impact on basketball.